All systems are functional. All systems are functional.
I never thought I'd say it, but tonight we are rocking out with our Orang Pendeks out. We've got Adam Davies back on the show with us tonight. Been a while since we spoke with Adam. It's great to have him back. Some really interesting developments coming from Adam's last expedition. And you know what? This is one of those nights where I'm actually glad that we didn't get our regular guests, because it gave us an opportunity to reach out to Adam, especially at a time when such interesting things are going on with them. So it's great to have you back on the show, Adam. How you been?
I'm really good, and it's really brilliant to be back on the show. I love it.
You are not only our fallback guest, but you're sort of our fallback god. We just like you, Adam. We just like you. So we try to validate our friendships here on the show. We call people, we just say, listen, we like you. We really like you. So that's what we're doing tonight. This is a Valentine for Adam Davies. That's what we'll actually title the show. A Valentine for Adam Davies. And when you get your actual Valentine for me, don't read it on the air.
Well, that's good. I was going to say I'm touched, but maybe I should save it till my actual Valentine.
Oh, you will be touched.
I was going to say, strangely enough, it's like you're actually reading the Valentine that I sent you. This is almost it verbatim.
I'll keep it special.
This is like the diaries of Adam Davies, because we're able to sort of chronologically place certain important aspects of Adam's life with the shows that we have, because we always seem to bring him on at these real sort of hallmark moments in his research, which is great. So the last time that we had you on, you had actually just came back from, I think it was Russia.
For looking for the Yeti.
It was in Nepal. You just came back from Nepal looking for the Yeti. And we had talked about, how eager you were to go back to Sumatra. And then what people don't know is Adam and I are actually sort of like closet pen pals. We don't talk about it on the air. But Adam and I occasionally are in correspondence with each other.
Now, is there any word on when they're going to air that episode of Monster Quest?
No, the short answer is no. I think it's pretty soon, but I haven't been told when it's coming out yet. I would imagine sooner rather than later. Do I have a firm date? No, but I would think in the fall is a good guess.
Well, we love Monster Quest, so we're going to be waiting for the episode. In fact, just to be nostalgic for 1 minute, because I know it's after midnight there, and I'm going to try to we're going to try to stretch this out as long as possible. We're more like, we try to put people in other countries in catatonic states, is what we do. We get them on the air late at night. We try to deprive them of food. We try to deprive them of water and sleep and see how long they can go. This is sort of like Saw 8.
Is that where those two strange men came to my door and locked me in this airless basement? Is that connected with the show?
The show is actually a puzzle that you can't escape from. That's exactly what it is.
He said to stop looking at him, and I'm comfortable with that. I'll just talk to you.
Just don't mention anything going on in the periphery, because that's breaking down that fourth wall. So we can't have anybody actually figure out the puzzle until we give clues. See, it's like the mystery machine here. It's like Scoob in the game.
So who's Velma and who's Daphne? Because Daphne I really fancied when I was a kid. I had a massive crush on her.
Well, according to the conversation we were having earlier, we all sort of fancy ourselves as Daphne. but it all has to deal with bets placed very, very late at night in a smoky, shadowy pub somewhere. Which, unfortunately, could be any night for me. I really do have a problem. But we had talked to you, and talking to you off the air, and obviously you're a guy who's very, very passionate about what you do, and that's one of the things that's appealed to us so much, and the reason that we love to have you back on the show so much is because it really comes through on the air. But you were extremely excited to go back to Sumatra. This is a place that you can't get your mind off of it. So tell us, in wanting to go back and sort of the steps leading up to going back, any kind of presumptions that you had, or maybe just a wish list. What was running through your mind when you were really, really seriously thinking and planning and going back there?
Well, simply put, there are two main reasons I wanted to go back. And the first reason is I just wanted to see it. and it was as much as that. I really wanted to see it, and I'd got really close to finding really good evidence before. We'd had evidence, which I'll talk about later, which had been scientifically analysed and proven as coming from an unknown species, as far as I'm concerned. I'd spent a lot of time there. I'd suffered a lot for it. Thousands of pounds of my own money. I'd had dysentery, leeches, tigers, the works, and I really wanted to go. And I also knew, because I'd been several times before, exactly where I wanted to look. And as a wider issue, I also feel that if it's not proven, time's really running out for it because of the palm oil plantations and the illegal logging. So I kind of think that if I could put it really succinctly, from my own point of view, the way I'd like to see it is a noble desire, because I felt that I was doing a lot of good by finding it, and also I just really desperately wanted to prove it.
Now, one question that I had before, and this is something that I think a lot of people don't realize too, is that you get into areas where obviously I don't think it's just as simple as setting something up and going in and being able to research. I mean, countries have different political climates and different kind of atmospheres. Now, what exactly is Sumatra like right now?
It's a good question. In terms of the politics, it's nothing like the Congo. It's nowhere near as complex as that. It's a very tribal society. And it's very important to respect the tribal customs. It's not difficult to get in, but it helps to know a little bit of Indonesian to get by, and also to be respectful to the tribal cultures. For example, when I was there, I met the king of the Kubu. They call them the Suku and Agdalam. And because we'd been respectful, he showed his appreciation and he gave me a kiss.
Now, was this a friendly peck on the cheek, or was this like you should probably buy me dinner before kind of kiss?
Well, I was offered a kiss by the queen of the Kubu, but I told him he wasn't my type.
Were you left chewing someone else's food? I think that's the question that we're asking.
No, he was a really nice guy, actually. And the Kubu are an ancient race who live in the jungle, and they have a lot of mystique and mystery surrounding the Orang Pendek. And I went to see the king of the Kubu because he had got information about how he had once seen an Orang Pendek with his son-in-law and how it had chased him in the jungle. And he was a really decent guy. And it was because we spent so much time carefully researching it, he made time and came and saw us. And we spent an hour and a half in his presence having an interview. And he was a really decent guy. But that's because I'd researched local customs and because I was respectful to them that I was able to get that sort of audience.
I always have this horrible fear that someone's going to give me the wrong tour guide. And for some bizarre reason, I'm going to mistake the local custom for like shitting in their salad, and I'm literally going to get my head cut off. Which is probably why I don't travel that often, is because if I can mix things up that easily, I probably should just stay here, like right in my house, and not even venture out to work, which I have no problems with either. So at this point, some customs, it's obviously getting easier for you to go.
Well, on the first point, what I'd say is before you came on the air, the other guys told me about your desire to shit in salads, and they said that they weren't going to eat anything tonight and keep their hands really, really close to their palms.
I don't even use croutons anymore. I bypass the croutons. I go straight to excrement.
But in terms of getting used to the local customs in Sumatra, I know them really well, and I know the guides really well. I selected Sahar and Donny for this expedition because I knew they are the best trackers and rangers in Sumatra. Simple as that. They know their stuff, and they are damn good, and they are fiercely loyal to me, and I trust them. And whilst it's right that you have to be wary, I didn't have that problem because I knew I could rely on them. When we were in what could have been a potentially life-threatening situation, and I'll tell you about that later on, Donny didn't hesitate when I told him to draw his parang and move forward. He was there, and he would have fought for his life for us if we needed to. So I trusted them.
And you have you've had a relationship as far as the expeditions go with that particular guide, correct?
Yeah, I've known Sahar for a good number of years, and I know his family. I kind of see his boys grow up. He's a lovely guy, Sahar, but I think it's fair to say he's quite a small chap. And his kid is like 3 times the size of him now, and I keep seeing this guy, and every time his kid's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And they're a lovely family. They make a massive effort for us, and his wife, we stay in the house and everything. There's no issue with that. And he was, before he became a forest guide, he actually used to stop the anti-tiger he used to stop the tiger poaching out there as well. So he's a conservationist at heart, and a decent guy. No problem with those guys. You have to watch your back when you go to a new place, but I didn't hear.
Now, you've talked before, like, there are problems with poaching. There's problems with logging, deforestation there. Is it just getting worse, or are you seeing movements to try to hedge that back a little bit?
Well, the answer is both, and I'll explain why. The Indonesians do take the deforestation and do attempt to take it seriously. They do try to stop the poaching, and they do try to stop the deforestation. But it's a very poor country, and it's very difficult. And, to give you a simple example, with the farms around there, say, for example, you have 2 or 3 kids, each one needs a new farm. Where do you get your new farm from? You get it from the jungle. Yeah, you just cut a bit more jungle off. And it's very difficult to say to those people, well, actually, your kid's going to starve. I'm sorry, but you're going to be reduced to even more abject poverty because of that. One of the best ways to help the local people and to make them realize is for them to invest in the jungle. And the best way they can invest in the jungle is by education and understanding that they can have a stake in it, they can be rangers, and that the jungle is the best way of preserving their own society in the long run. And once it's gone, yeah, and I saw it be wiped out, yeah. There's only cinnamon plantations, palm oil plantations, the jungle's gone, the animals are dead. You help them to preserve it, and they will preserve it. But they need to see that there's a good reason for it.
Did you have fears before you went that maybe what you're looking for is so endangered that, in fact, it might die off before you do get to prove its existence, before you do get to see it?
Yeah, I did, and it's when I went in 2007 with the History Channel, I spent some time with Jeremy Holden. Now, Jeremy spent 10, 15 years in Sumatra on an Orang Pendek project, and we discussed this. And he was worried that, he hadn't seen an Orang Pendek for several years, or although local people had seen sightings, and he was saying, did I see this one animal that's on Kerinci? Was it the last of its kind? Is it now a solitary figure wandering around the jungle? Are they all gone, or are they nearly gone? I don't know. I just hope that the more evidence we can get gives more international pressure to ensure the preservation of that jungle. There's certainly very few of them. Sightings in the village, the nearest village to it, there's only 4. Although you have had sightings, there's only 4 rangers who've seen it recently. I wouldn't say it's prolific. It's definitely endangered, but it's impossible to estimate how many there are. I hope to God there's just enough to sustain the population right now.
How long is a typical expedition for you? I mean, how long are you there, and do you really feel as though you get to accomplish what you set out to do, or you're always really wanting more by the time you leave?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I'm always wanting more is the short answer. I have to do it just to set the scene, because there's been a really, really good debate on Crypto Monday, which is an excellent, in my view, the king of cryptozoology sites. It's a fantastic site.
Lauren's a great guy.
Yeah, he is fantastic, and I think he's brilliant. But in answer to your question, yeah, I have to do this on my own. When I make a film, I love making these films, and I've made a few now for History Channel and National Geographic, and that's different. But when I do these things, I do them on my own time and my own money, so I kind of have to do them in my leave. And that limits the amount of time you can spend out there. So when I go to Sumatra, for example, I can only go for a couple of weeks because I need to live and I have to have a day job. If
Right.
I was making films or had a series or documentaries, it wouldn't matter. But the reality of it is I have to go back then, so I'm limited on the time. So what I have to do is do some very careful research before I go to think, where are the best areas, who are the best contacts, how can I maximize the time I'm there to get the best possible evidence I can. But that's all I can do because you're limited with resource. If you've got a film, you've got more resources, you've got more cameras. If you haven't, you go with what you've got and you just have to do the best you can.
Now, obviously, the kind of visibility that you have now, which is greater than when you first started doing this, has it made it easier for you?
It's made it easier for me to do documentaries and films, I think, which is great because they're enormous fun. In terms of, did it make it easier for me to get into Sumatra? Yeah, because I built up a good reputation with the Sumatrans. They knew that I was serious about it. They liked the fact that I kept coming back, and I kept trying to get more evidence, so they respected that. They also knew that I could perform well in the jungle. You have to be physically fit to do these things. And, if you're puffing and panting at the back, that's no good. Especially as I'm the expedition leader, I need to be able to show them that I'm as good as them at what I'm doing. And I also, because I've been tracking all over the world now, I can also track animals. Probably not as good as them, but good enough to earn their respect. I found Orang Pendek trails, for example, while we were out there. And they respect that. They like the fact that I get stuck in. And we also chill with them at night. At night when we're sat round and over dinner and that, we'll have a good laugh together. And it's all about building rapport and trust. And I think I've got that in spades with the Sumatrans. There's no problem there.
This expedition, as opposed to some of the earlier ones, you're obviously very, very excited. And there was a lot of ambition going into it. Did you approach this one differently? Was there a different focus or a more intense focus this time around?
I think from a personal point of view, it's intense. Before I went on this expedition, I spent months and months planning it. I spoke to the Sumatrans nearly every day. We chose the routes. It's all about maximising the time we're out there. They did some very thorough research, as I've said, on the king, so we could get some information off him. And I chose a location where I'd got sightings before to maximise the time we were actually out in the field. So yeah, it is personal because, as I say, I want to do some good out there. And it's all about trying the best you can. I fling everything into it. And when I'm out there on an expedition, my mind is constantly whirring. I'm thinking about the tracking, the permutations, the dynamics of the group, getting the best out of the people I'm with. I'm looking at the guys who are on my team, whether they're tired, whether they need extra help, all of those things. So I just never stop mentally until I got to Singapore and had a beer. From the moment I land to the moment I leave, I'm on the go. So that's quite knackering, but I've got to do the best I can for myself and for the team that I'm responsible for. So it's important I do.
This expedition, this obviously, and we've talked about it, was very, very personal for you. You seem, I get this feeling that, you really think you're getting closer. And I think everyone actually who follows the expeditions with you has that same feeling. I mean, we have it here too.
Yeah.
It's like when we know you're ready to go, it's like we just have this expectation. And I think it's a justified expectation from all the work that you've done before.
Thank you.
Did you have a very definitive goal? And did you feel like you were getting close to it?
Yeah, well, I mean, if I talk you through the single biggest moment and explain what it means on the expedition, would that help you understand?
I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when we got up to the area where I found trails before is a place called Gunung, which is a lake. It's in Sumatra. It's the highest freshwater lake in Southeast Asia. It's a beautiful place. It looks like a lost world. For the first time, if you ever go there, you imagine, if a Tyrannosaurus Rex was to pop its head around, you wouldn't go. You think, oh, fair enough. It's that sort of place. It's an amazing place.
And it would be in stop motion animation too.
Yeah, one of those Ray Harryhausen ones with the move dead slowly. Oh shit! Don't fall in the lake. You're only 6 and we're trying to make you 30 foot.
if you could, the great thing about it is that if you're actually running in real time, it's going to take him approximately 48 hours to catch up.
Yeah, well, that'd be perfect if the tigers were like that. I'd be like, sauntering past them. You're like, yeah, boy, you roar all you want, man. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
So we went up there, and now the first place I wanted to go, there were two groups of Brits. Of the Brits, there was myself and Dave Archer in one group, and Richard Freeman and Chris Clark in the other. I sent two groups out on these locations. I went with Dave Archer and Sahar and Donnie as one of the teams to the location where I'd found prints before, say in 2001, for example, the ones that were identified as being from an unknown primate. Now we went into the jungle there, and that was going to be my first location. Now we moved very, very slowly through the jungle. In terms of equipment, we had camera traps and everything else, but we hadn't set them up at that stage because it was our first proper trek in. Dave has something called a game finder, which sends out a beam, for want of a better word, and it can identify, without boring you, using infrared technology to see if there are masses of creatures in the jungle. Right. Now, we're moving ahead. The first thing I find as I move ahead is some fresh tiger marks, some fresh claw marks from a tiger. So I was actually sat there thinking, oh no, here we go. There's a tiger that's active in this area. We better be very careful. So we're moving extremely quietly through, and I hear a large animal moving through the jungle. I can hear it. I tell the whole team to stop. Now, my first thought isn't this an Orang Pendek. My first thought at that point was it could well be this damn tiger that we just
right.
found the marks for. You know, it's like, oh, great, you know, first day in and I'm eating. You know what I mean? Good-o. And I'll tell you a funny story about the tiger later. Do remind me. So we peel off I split the group into two. We peel off to one side. Donnie and I peel off to the left. Sahar and Dave peel off farther ahead to the right. Now, it was at that point that Sahar and Dave both saw the Orang Pendek. It was pinned against a tree, hiding from us. Dave described how it actually pinned its face into the tree. Sahar goes to me, "What's that animal?" And you know, both of them saw it move rapidly, bipedally on two legs, off into the jungle. We couldn't have caught it. There's no way we could have moved as fast as it. And, you know, Sahar was so upset by the experience, he burst into tears. So I've got this bizarre, this bizarre experience where I'm in the jungle giving this Indonesian guy a big hug in the jungle as he cries his eyes out when he's seen it. It's like, yeah, there we go. And, you know, it was very, very moving for both of them. Dave described it interestingly as being like a chimpanzee. Obviously, there are no chimpanzees in Indonesia, right. But he described it as being stocky, with dark or black hair, and obviously both of them said it walked bipedally. It was an amazing moment for both of them. Matt Billy on Cryptomundo, somebody who I really respect, said, "Well, could it be possibly a gibbon?" Which is a very good point. But the gibbon troops were a long way away at this stage, and there's no way a forest ranger like I've seen lots of gibbons up there. I would know instantly, but there's no way a forest ranger like Sahar would mistake a gibbon for an Orang Pendek. Do you know what I mean? It's like you mistaking a hedgehog for a dog. It just wouldn't happen. Right. And his reaction. Yeah, his reaction clearly showed how emotional he was about it. Now, so we hadn't set up traps at that stage. It was our first time in the jungle. We found Orang Pendek trails then, and some of them in photographs, and I also found trails at another location as well. What we also found at that location was rattan that had been chewed. And it's subject. This is a conjecture on my part, but it appears to be. I've spoken to eyewitnesses before who say that the Orang Pendek chews rattan, and I think it was probably feeding or chewing on the rattan at the time when we disturbed it, and when it heard us and saw us coming, it buggered off into the jungle. So I kept those bits of rattan, and I bottle them in ethanol. On another trail, very quickly, I also found hares. Well, Donnie found hares, rather, after I found the trail, right next to an Orang Pendek trail. Now, those hares and that rattan will be the subject of analysis by Todd Dissertal at New York University. He spent a lot of time looking into it the other day for me to see whether we actually could have a go at pulling potentially DNA off the rattan. And the good news seems to be that we can give it a try, and it's certainly not implausible. The hares, you can pull DNA off those, as you know. Now, I can't say for definite that the rattan and the hares are from that Orang Pendek. I cannot say that. But what I can say is that it was definitely in the area. I think it was probably chewing that rattan. The hares certainly matched the colour as described by the eyewitnesses, and we'll do our best and give it a go. If we can pull DNA off it, that would be of enormous significance, and that would kind of, it's a long answer to your question, but that would kind of be enough for me. If we can prove, because Todd doesn't bullshit, you know. If it's an unknown species and it's identified as such, he will say so. And he's not. I wouldn't say he's somebody who would in any way fabricate any of the results. His integrity is unimpeachable, and he'll say so, and that would be enormously significant. So, if anything, that would probably be the single biggest thing he can do. There'll always be some people who say, well, you know, we need a body, habeas corpus, but that isn't practical or feasible in the jungle. The closest you can get is DNA, and if I get that, I'll be happy.
Is Todd the gentleman with the mohawk?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He lives out. He's in New York.
I love that guy.
Yeah, he's in New York. Yeah, he's kind of irreverent. I mean, his attitude is, well, you know, I will do my best for you, and if there's something there, I'll say so.
Right.
So you've got to trust him. But it's also important that anything that I do find is analysed independently by scientists. So. In answer to a couple of things, again, it was on Cryptomundo and something else, the hair samples we found were not, in 2001 when I was with Andy Sanderson, they were not analysed by somebody who you described as being pro-cryptozoology. They were analysed by Dr. Hans Brunner, who did the dingo baby case. The prints were analysed by Jeff Meldrum and Dr. Chivers from Cambridge University. Now, there's no way I can influence what they're going to come out with. If they say it's tosh or rubbish, they'll say so. They'll say, this is crap, Adam. If it's genuine, they'll say so too, and that's what I want. Everything I do is open to independent scientific scrutiny, and that's the way it has to be, because any of this stuff is all about the integrity of the science. But what I do is I find the evidence and then I pass it over to experts. And again, I really feel that's the best I can do. I can't draw any more conclusions than that. I bag up what I get and I send it off, simply put.
Is there a feeling of disappointment not seeing it yourself this time?
Yeah. There was. You know, Dave saw it, and it was Dave's first time in the jungle, and it was like his first day in the jungle. I mean, it's like he's been an expert. I mean, he's a very good tracker, so he's got lots of experience tracking animals. But his first time in Sumatra, his first day, and he's a lovely bloke. And he afterwards he turned to me, because I think he was probably feeling a bit, and he said, "Well, you know, Adam, I didn't, you know, like trying to make me feel better." And he's like, "Adam, I didn't actually see its face, you know." I just it's like, shut up, Dave. Shut up. This is my first time here. I've spent thousands of pounds. I've had the shits. I've been covered in leeches. Don't tell me you didn't see his face. What do you want, a cabaret off it? You know?
It reminds me of a time years ago when I went. It reminds me of a time years ago when I went. I used to be a big fisherman, and I took my girlfriend at the time, her first time fishing. You know, I'm out there struggling, you know, every day and coming up with new techniques. You know, I think it was her first or second cast. You know, she lands like a 8-pound bass, and that was it for me. I gave up fishing.
You have to understand, women's success has nothing to do with luck and everything to do with pissing us off. That's the difference.
I'm totally resentful to this day.
Yeah, exactly. The good thing about that is, I bet she just didn't go on about it all the time.
Oh, no,
for
never.
weeks.
No. It's actually the reason why she's my ex-girlfriend. So.
A phrase.
I know. I've been there, man.
A phrase that I like to throw around.
So Dave felt really good about it. And I mean, in Sahar's village, he went down from the jungle one night because obviously it was the Muslim festival of Ramadan. He went down and like the whole.
Adam.
Hey, Adam, you still there?
Oh.
See, this is strange because we're actually running. We're fine.
I'll bet he could probably hear us.
And hopefully Adam can hear us. If so, we're going to give him a quick call
I can
back.
hear you.
Oh, you're
Okay,
back.
great.
He's back.
Yeah.
All right.
At this point, it actually came back, which was nice.
Nice.
Isn't it
Can you hear
interesting
me?
however, isn't it interesting that we talked about women and their evil, wily ways, and the phone call cut out?
Yeah, interesting. What's your wife doing? Is she cutting any lines anywhere? What's she up to?
She's always cutting one line, my lifeline.
Right.
That's the one she's currently sawing away at. But it's always sort of, I mean, it's great that someone else was able to validate your passion for this, and now they have that experience that they're going to carry with them. But some people always tend to step in shit, though, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
They always tend to. Mark's notorious for that. Here's a guy. Now, and I won't be very long because we have more important things to talk about. But if I get any chance at all to sort of berate Mark in the air, I can't pass it up. Mark's
Well, he's not stepping in your shit salad by mistake, is he?
No, that's gonna be my new motto. Don't step in my shit salad.
Well, I'm going to say it as much as I can now so it sticks.
It just rolls off the tongue, no pun
does.
intended. Shit
That's
salad.
Shit salad.
That's something I think that's going to replace damn it. I think damn it is on its way out. Shit salad is on the way in. So Mark can be the kind of guy. He's looking for an apartment right now, and I was talking this over with my wife, and I said Mark won't look for an
You're looking
apartment
for an
like
apartment
this.
with your wife?
I encourage it, but I have no takers yet.
No.
So
Now I know why you guys spend so much time in that basement together. It's fitting into place.
it goes from the closet to the basement. We're almost all the way out. It's this weird kind of
Well, as
hulking
long as
man
you're all
life.
happy, that's fine.
And happy would be an interesting term. So, and we all thought Mark's sort of like reviewing his options and stuff for this apartment. And I just have this feeling that he's going to step outside of his house the day before he's getting ready to get, sort of not kicked out, but his landlord's going to say like, hey, tomorrow, tomorrow's the day, and some like hapless philanthropist is going to just pass by Mark and go, now theirs looks like an honest gentleman. I'm giving away a house. The horrible thing about it is that I can't seem to give this thing away because it's filled with 19-year-old whores.
Yeah.
What are you doing later today? And that's how it happens for people like that. So I understand your pain because I am also the guy that ends up hugging a crying Indonesian man late at night while Mark is in a house of 19-year-old whores.
Now, if I do end up getting,
Mark. Mark,
yes,
can I move in? To this
I was just going to extend an
Fantastic.
invite. You're always welcome. Ash, on the other hand,
We're going to party,
Not so much.
man, I tell you.
Well, all manic depressive Indonesian men. Come on, there's a shoulder to cry on right here.
Yeah, you can be the shoulder to cry on. I'm going out. I'm going to Mark's house. That's going to be it.
I'll be offering all psychological therapy to those in the bush while you guys are in the bush of another kind.
Exactly.
Well, at least I won't need penicillin. All right, guys.
No, and you stay there with that moral high horse because that'll make me so much better. Make me feel so much better as it's 3 a.m. and we're on to number 26. Me and Mark.
26. If I'm there at 2 o'clock and it's 3 a.m, I've already passed through the whole lot. Now, obviously, you were a little disappointed, but again, you had to have been elated that someone saw this thing. Now a question that I have too is, you're finding multiple tracks on different occasions. Were you able to look at these tracks and go, yes, this is what I saw last time?
Yeah, with the guides, the forest rangers, they know all the tracks of the animals there. Anyway, they live in that jungle or on the edge of that jungle, so they know the animals, and they can tell not only what animal it is, but what its behavior patterns is. So, for example, if they find a tiger track, obviously they can tell it's a tiger, but they can also give a good estimate as to what direction it was hunting and how all the prints are. With the Orang Pendek tracks, what I was able to do was obviously photograph those and compare those to the ones to the print that was identified as an unknown primate in 2001, and it's not that difficult to do once you've done it for a while. It's all about experience, a lot of tracking. So yeah, I think I found good tracks in two specific locations. One around the area where Dave and Sahar saw the Orang Pendek, and the second one on the other side of the lake. And Sahar was telling me that in terms of its range, the Orang Pendek or Pendeks move around. Obviously, they're opportunistic feeders, so they look for what they can eat. And so, it may well snack on fruit, it may turn over logs to look for insects. It's just moving through the jungle, and as it does, you pick up tracks, depending on how heavy the rainfall is, what it's been walking over, etc. So I was quite pleased, actually. You never know when you get there. It could be like when I went in 2007 and really, although we got some good eyewitnesses, found nothing. But as it was a great expedition. We found really good evidence. So from my point of view, my starting one point would have been, at least I found tracks. At least I know there's some still knocking about in the jungle. At least I know it's alive still. That was what I wanted to find as a starting point.
Now, something that obviously, and this was seen firsthand then, something that moves very, very quickly. How difficult is it to track a creature like that?
And what size creature are we talking about, too? What's the estimated size?
Well, yeah. The easiest way to draw parallels, very similar to a chimpanzee, yeah?
Okay.
So in terms of build and in terms of behavior, it's extremely difficult to track anything through the jungle because a creature that's much more, I'm speculating here, but I think it's fair speculation, a creature that's much more physically powerful and has adapted to the jungle will move a lot quicker than a load of guys from Britain and Indonesia. It just can. I mean, it didn't move particularly quickly when it went away from the tree, I think it's fair to say, but even then, we couldn't actually follow it, It went into the thickest jungle and it was gone. It's very difficult. The camera traps are the best way of capturing photographic images of animals in the jungle, and Jeremy did a lot of that when he was out there and got some excellent pictures of things like tigers, etc. And we did set camera traps up. But as I say, on that occasion, we hadn't even had an opportunity to set camera traps up because it was our first, literally, in that jungle, it was our first couple of hours in there.
Wow.
Now, let's talk about the evidence for a moment. We have tracks. Were you able to make any good casts this time?
No, which was a killer. The bottom line is with the casts. Sahar bought some in Indonesia. It's called Gate Plaster of Paris, but it degraded, so we couldn't make any. And that was probably to me, more frustrating than not seeing it, for want of a better word, because we had a couple of really good ones where they would have made excellent casts. But that happens in the field, and you have to be prepared to take it on the chin. And I was disappointed, and John and his brother was extremely upset for us. But if you're in those sort of humid environments, etc., sometimes those sort of things happen. I was very specific that was an important part of the equipment. He had it, but it didn't work. It was degraded. But at least we do have some really good photographs of the tracks with comparisons, and you can actually see with a bit of, obviously when you analyze those technically, you can see the tracks, and you can easily compare those in terms of size and scale with the print I found in 2001 and say that they're consistent.
And I think that's very key, because especially the people that we talk to that are interested in cryptozoology and those out there researching it, just because of the scarcity of prints itself, it's hard to get that kind of consistency. But it looks like you guys are finally able to really do that.
Yeah, that was you know, if I mean, I want the DNA stuff to come out as the most important thing, but if, from a personal point of view, if it doesn't for whatever reason, I'm now convinced, having gone again to Sumatra, that this.
Oh, we lost you again.
Hopefully he'll come back any second. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of a drop, but I think I can hear you. You still there, Adam?
Yeah, I'm still here. Can you hear me?
Okay, yeah, we can hear you. We're
I'm
just getting
still
a
here.
couple dropouts. I hate the fact that we're on the old system. Unfortunately, and I do apologize to you too. We're getting literally 99% of everything, but we're having these little dropouts occasionally.
No, that's okay.
See,
Can you hear me
Adam's also-
now?
Yes.
See, Adam is also a genuine gentleman on the air.
Such a nice guy.
Adam is a really nice guy, and I think it takes someone like Adam to really go out there, and people can definitely sort of empathize with Adam because he's doing this on his own dime. Now, obviously you had a huge high point at the beginning of this expedition. Did you feel that the rest of the expedition was in any ways like anticlimactic?
Well, something dramatic in terms of finding evidence. Well, it was near the end when we found trails on the other side of the lake, so there was still evidence to find. But it's kind of exciting. Different things happened every day, not necessarily always to do with the Orang Pendek, but all sorts of different things happen when, whether it's, you go to the water hole and you find there's a king cobra there, or it's chucking it down and you're walking through and you're like counting how many leeches you've got on your body. It's like leech watch. But the leeches seem to like my blood more than most. I don't know what that was.
Who ended up winning the leech contest? Who had the most?
I won the leech contest. Chris was Lord of the Flies. Chris went and he had his own colony.
So what is first prize in the leech contest? Passing out?
He'd be doing observations in the jungle where you sit in silence, and he'd have his own flies, and I'd like tease him about it. He's like, "Shut the fuck up."
They're like planetoids. It's like you start to have your own system of creatures that accompany you.
Whole ecosystem, everything.
Yeah, as he was stood there, I was going doing that, teasing it.
Now, how many leeches do you have? What was it like that scene in First Blood Part 2 where Rambo was like covered in them?
yeah, and he just lights a cigarette and moves on. I think I probably had about 20 or something like that. They were really gross. It's never fun with leeches. You never think, oh yeah, here's my friend the leech. You come on and suck my blood. It'll be fun. You just think, you disgusting bastard, get the fuck off me.
It doesn't have the same appeal as a young barfly with oral fixations.
No, it doesn't. And it's been a long time now, and the leech is the best I've got, and I'm getting quite bitter about it.
I was going to have you mail order me one. I'm too poor for a mail order bride, so as long as I get something that I can at least hear a suckling sound in my sleep, anything at this point, I'm that desperate.
Yeah, no, I understand. You go out with someone, they get at first they're very keen, then they get a bit familiar, and then all you see is their back in the night, and that's it. Kind of like that for you now, isn't it?
Which is usually how I prefer it, but occasionally I want to appear to be a sentient human being. Only occasionally.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. You come around to the party that Mark and I are having at his apartment. You can be as sensitive as you want there.
But what's very funny is that we get you. I think he would score very, very well here, Adam, because every time we've had you on live, we always have women in the chat room that are constantly talking about Adam's accent.
Oh, good. Well, that'll do me. I did actually on the way down, just before I went to Sumatra, made friends with Dave and I made friends with an air hostess, and we got an upgrade on the way back, which was very nice. So maybe I should do that in future. Maybe I should research where I go and then like make friends with the air hostesses on the way, because I'm quite happy to drink free whiskey all the way home, you know.
On the way home and on the way there.
Yeah, whatever. It's
But yeah, we have like these Adam groupies.
We do.
We see the people love it when you're, and the women love it when you're on the show. So we have to import you here to the States for like a week or so, Adam. We've got to do that.
Yeah, I love it, man.
I think your ego would fare very, very well out here very, very quickly, and I think it would really help your overall sense of being.
I'd love it. I'm dying to go. I'm dying to come, and I think we'd have a ball.
You know, we've got to set something up, and I think we're going to.
You know what? Well, let's try to get him down here. We'll go down to the Pineys and just see if we can find the Jersey Devil. We'll take Adam on an expedition.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
I will also introduce Adam to the girl who I showed the picture of his big toe to after he sent it to me.
Yeah.
You know,
can I just tell that story? Yeah. So Ash goes, "Oh, there's this girl who really likes you," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's brilliant, Ash. That's absolutely fantastic, right?" And then I sent him some photos from Nepal, including one with my blackened monkey toe. And this girl's going, "Oh yeah, he's really hot, yeah." Then he used a photo of the toe. And it's like, ew. So there's like no coming back from that, was there? No coming back.
If I were a movie, my tagline would be "cock blocking from 2,000 miles away." That's the only thing I'm good for, and even then, it's just to appease my own battered ego. That's all it's really about. So, you guys had some great evidence. You got some testimonies. Now, were there any recent eyewitness testimonies that really got you excited before that? I know we sort of hit upon that a little bit, but was there anything that just really, really got you up and going?
Well, I was very interested to hear the eyewitness testimony of the king, simply because he's got a very high status in his own society. So because of that, there's less opportunity for sort of embellishment, if you know what I mean. He's a king. He's got to say it as it is, because he's responsible to his own people. And he said that he was out hunting with his son-in-law, and when he came across an Orang Pendek, and it actually chased the pair of them through the jungle. It displayed aggressive behavior, and the pair of them hid from it. And the way he described it, he was absolutely, because I said to him, I did an interview with him, which was recorded, I think, by Richard Freeman and Dave Archer at the time. And I said to him, do you wish us luck? Do you want us to see it? Kind of as a close at the end of the interview. And he was like, "No, I really don't want you to see it, because don't need to have a shit time," was basically what he was saying. Right. You could see he was really, in my opinion, he was really unnerved by the experience. And that was great, not because he was unnerved by it, just because the sincerity of what he said was very powerful. But there are still quite a few sightings. I think in terms of, if you look at these sort of hominids, yetis for want of a better word, or in this case an Orang Pendek rather than a yeti. But if you look at these hominids, then in terms of greatest concentration of sightings, the greatest concentration of sightings has always been Sumatra, of all the places I've been, which points probably to a sustainable community for now. So, that was a great moment.
Now, what kind of documentation did you have available to you? Were there extensive camera work being done there? Is this something that we're going to see be made available publicly?
No, I didn't make a documentary. I mean, and I deliberately didn't this time. Again, there was talk on Crypto Monday about an organisation called the CFZ. I'm not a member of the CFZ, although I led the expedition. The other three people on the team were members of the expedition, but they were the people I invited as individuals because of the skills they could bring, rather than as members of that organisation. So in other words, Dave's a really good tracker, Chris is very experienced and technical, and Richard's got good zoological experience, and I invited them as individuals. We all paid for it ourselves out of our own time and own money. Now then, I'm not contracted to any film company, but Richard, as part of the CFZ, is, and the BBC had asked if they could come as part of this expedition, as part of their film, and both of us agreed that we didn't want that. What I wanted to do was find it. I love making films and I want to make more, but I didn't want at that stage, because I was so convinced that I knew where it was and hoped that we could get evidence. I just didn't want a crew getting in the way this time. I just wanted to go and find as much evidence as I could. And because of the location and the way it is, without going into too much detail, I knew that probably my best shot would be right at the beginning of the expedition. I didn't want that screwed up while we set up loads of cameras and everything else. We had to just go out there and try.
Now, as far as any kind of analysis, any results coming back from the hair and then from the rata, when exactly are you expecting that? Is that something that is going to be a couple of days, a couple of weeks, a couple of months?
Well, because since I come back to the jungle, because I've literally been in work, yeah? So came back from the jungle and I had to go straight to work, and that was a treat, I can tell you,
Oh, yeah.
After 4 hours sleep. Oh, yes. Like with my boss going, can you just do this, and this? And I was like, oh, shit, no. So the earliest I can send off the samples to Todd is on Saturday.
Okay.
And I'll send them off to him in America. Now, from there, Todd normally turns things around fairly quickly. It's not for me to tell you, out of respect to Todd, exactly how quick he'll turn them around. But he normally turns them around pretty quickly when I've had them before with hair samples and things like that. I've had him analysed before. He does pretty quickly because he's enthusiastic. I would imagine it would be, if I had to guess, and it's just a guess, so don't hold me to it, within a couple of weeks.
You have to be itching to go back. With getting this much, you have to be absolutely itching.
No. Yeah, itching. Itching is the word. Let's separate itching from go back and
Now, do you have any good new monkey stories?
I'll tell you a tiger story in a minute. I'll answer the question first of all. I would go back, but I also want to do other things as well. Yeah, it's important that I don't just keep going back to Sumatra. I do other things, as you know. I was in the Himalayas, in Nepal with History Channel in January, and before that I was in Russia, and before that in China. So we'll go back, I'm sure, at one stage, but I'll also do other things too, other adventures out there. Yeah. So
what's next on your plate? Do you have anything lined up?
I have some ideas, but I don't have anything definite.
Okay.
Because I've just come back, what I normally do is think about what I'm going to do, after I've had a couple of weeks and the chill out afterwards. India's a potential. I'm interested in some of the stories there, but nothing's concrete. I'll see. I'll tell you. I'll normally know by Christmas about what I'm going to do, give and take. So, yeah, there are things I'm interested in. Right now, India's the biggest contender, but that could change. It depends what comes along.
Right.
Let me tell you the tiger story anyway. Let's digress.
I'm glad you remembered, Mark, because you did say to remind him. I would have forgotten.
Yeah.
My ADD is at an all-time high.
Well, we were one of the things that was the biggest possible risk when we were out in the jungle was the tiger. Now, in Sumatra, as I understand it, the man-eating tigers there have killed 3 people this year, so it's a very real danger. Now, we'd found, when we were out there, I told you on the first day we found fresh claw marks from a tiger. And for the first few days while we were there, absolutely belted it down with rain. Yeah, it was so wet that we couldn't light a fire at night to keep the tiger away. So he was like, oh shit. Yeah, Mr. Tiger's out there in the jungle and we're sleeping in this leafy shelter made of twigs, that even the big bad wolf with asthma could blow down. And there's the tiger. The tiger is there. And it's a very real threat. And I'll tell you for why. When I was in and Andy won't mind me telling this because he knows I'm going to. When I was in the jungle, I think in 2004, I was with a good friend of mine, Andy Sanderson, and we were out in Sumatra in the same place, and we were sleeping in one of these twig leaf constructions, and we're out there. Now, what we'd done is we kind of made a toilet, and we'd made it under this rattan. So basically, what you did was, there's the camp, and about 400 or 500 yards, you had to go through this thick rattan. It's like an archway, and then you have a crap on the other side of it. Yeah, there's no diversion left and right. You have to go through this like column to get to it. Okay, now in the jungle, when you're eating all this dodgy stuff, sometimes you get the shits. It's just the way it goes. Yeah. It's just the way it goes. And I've got a bit of an Indonesian tummy at the moment, and I've done that quite well throughout this interview. I'm kind of proud of my bowels. Believe me, 3 times in 10 minutes before I started. Since then, they've been holding strong. They've done me proud.
Congratulations!
You should have had a watch of the third hand tonight.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good achievement, isn't it? So anyway, right? So he says to me, "You're right. We're all lying like asleep in this thing," and he shakes me and he's going, "Ad." This is like in the middle of the night. I said, "Yeah, Andy, what is it?" He says, I need to go. I said, right. I said, I need to go for a shit, man. I need to go for a shit, and I cannot help it, right? And I said, well, just go. You'll be fine, yeah. So I said, I'll keep awake, so that and as you're coming back through the rattan, I'll shine a torch, yeah. So right, of course, I'm so busy laughing at his misfortune, but it is funny. So he goes off. Right, into this rattan, right? He gets to the other side of it, and he starts taking a shit, right? He's pulled his pants out, starts taking a shit, and he's midway through, and and then he hears this. He doesn't know what it is. I'm not saying it's a tiger, but he pulls his pants up, right? He comes bombing through this rattan, right? His head's all scratched. He's like, oh no. He says, he's like this. He's basically, Ad. It nearly had me. He says, I was thinking as I was having a shit, right? Oh, this is how I'm going to die, having a shit in the middle of the jungle. And I'm like, I said to him, look, man, it would have been worse for me. I would have had to tell your mum how you died. Oh, yes, Mrs. Sanderson. He died a noble death. He tried to take it all for all of us.
We did clean and dress the body.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that the shit on his pants? No, that's just a little bit of mud.
That's when you have to wrap the body in a flag. You absolutely have to. Even if they're not a serviceman.
Back in his Union Jack. He was like a young Sir Stanley Livingston, honestly, Mrs. Sanderson.
Oh, that's great.
Well, he came out of this world lighter than he went into it. That's the way you got to look at it. It's always great to leave us with a fantastic tiger plus man shitting his pants story. We want to thank you so much for being on with us tonight, Adam. We really do. We had a blast, as we always do. We're going to go ahead and we're going to stop the recording so we can get ready for our live show. We want to keep you with us for just a couple minutes, if that's okay with you.
Sure.